Good morning. This is your author Mark, inviting you to another one of my another YouTube discussions. And to be honest with you, I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't gonna make this YouTube video, but uh, yesterday, but I decided that yes, I'm gonna do this YouTube video anyway, because what got me to thinking is yesterday I went to dinner at my favorite restaurant. I'm not going to tell you where it is because I don't want people, to swarm me there. Because when I go to dinner, that's my private time. But but what I do know, what really persuaded me to do this video. So I went to dinner yesterday to my favorite restaurant. It was around 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m. Okay, I went to dinner. Anyway, I go in there, and it was Wednesday. Yesterday was Wednesday night. I go in there, sit down, order a meal, blah blah blah. But what I did notice is like nobody and the whole place was totally empty. It was just waitress staff, whatever. And this kind of inspired me to do this video, is because you get a lot of these talking heads on Fox Business Network, uh, on the news channel, saying 100 days. Look what President Trump has accomplished. Okay, now I'm going to say that President Trump did accomplish a lot in in his 100 days. He slowed he slowed down the immigration down to a trickle. Okay, which it is a good thing. He he did manage to do some things to improve education. Not a lot, but he did manage to do uh, some things. He actually made some. He did do some good things. Now, a lot of people maybe might be asking me a question, Mark. Would you like to live under President Trump's presidency or Joe Biden's presidency? And I would say I would rather live under President Donald Trump's presidency because it is a lot better. But but on the other hand, what I'm also saying is what I am trying to say is that yes, President Trump has accomplished a lot of good things. Like I said, slow down the immigration process. You know, he actually took. He did try to clean up the immigration process. He um, he did he did a few good things here and there. But what I'm trying to say is what I am trying to tell you in this time, that you have to be realistic. You can't see. And here's what really gets me is, all these talking heads on the news channel say that President Trump did this, President Trump did that. Yes, and I'm going to say yes, he did a lot of good things. But what I have on this channel and what I'm trying to teach you is that you have to have realistic expectations, and you have to look at things realistically. Because to be honest with you, as far as I see it, and after I went to dinner last night, I came to thinking it's like, the inflation is still high, because there's not a lot of people in restaurants. Although, yeah, I admit it, it was Wednesday night, but that place should be packed. So I mean, yeah, there's still inflation over there. I mean, the gas prices, although they're still high, it came down. They did calm down a little bit, but the gas prices are still high. Um, and like for example, your clothes are going to get more expensive because of certain tariffs with China and all that stuff. Now, like I said, the tariffs will work. However, what what see, the thing is, the tariffs may work, and initially they will work. However, what you have to realize, we do not in America have a strong manufacturing base. So that be, and because of these things, we still need to import things from China and from other countries. But and although realistically, you have to look at things realistically. Although yes, some of those jobs may return to the United States. However, we still need to import some goods and services from other countries. So those because although yeah, we can as Americans initiate tariffs on goods and services for other countries. Um, what you have to realize is that those countries can also initiate what we call retaliatory tariffs. Now, here's the thing, um, and here's the big thing. Can President Trump do more good things? Yes, but he's gonna have what he's having right now is he's having a real tough time implementing his policies because, like I said, the tariffs will work. But however, what you have to realize too is that other countries can initiate what we call retaliatory tariffs. So that will make things a little bit more expensive in our stores too. We may see tariffs on imported cars or other goods and services that we still need to import. Now, here's another thing that we will have to deal with, and you have to look at it realistically. Now, is President Trump been doing a good job for over this 100 days? I would say in this case, yes, he has done a good job, but he's still got a lot of more work to do. However, what I see, like, and what should be and a lot of people say, oh, Trump is moving too fast, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. That President Trump is moving too fast. Well, to be honest with you, yes, there are some good things that President Trump still can do, but what I'm saying is, let's. How can I put this in a nice way? That time is not on his side because we all know that we have what we call midterm elections coming up for Senate and Congress. So the thing is, and I already did this video that under the title "They Better Hurry," because yes, President Trump can do a lot of, and he's doing some good things. Some things work well, sometimes they don't. But the real deal is, if he wants to implement most of his policies, because let's be realistic, ladies and gentlemen, he's not I'm not that kind of a guy that says, "Oh, Trump is here again. Good times are here again. Trump is our only friend." So, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the kind of person that looks at a situation, reads reads the news, and makes educated guesses, and analyzes things based in reality, what's really going on. So the thing is, when I look at things realistically, yes, the prices in the grocery store are still too high. We're still dealing with inflation. The what do you call the Ukrainian crisis are very difficult to solve at this point. Uh, so what I'm trying to give you here on my channel is the realistic view of things, how they are, not how we would like them to be. Now, I have written about this inflation, this what we call economic crisis in my books, most of my books, such as start of the coming Civil War and the fall of the American Empire, which I am going to link to those books down below. Um, uh, I'm going to link those books down below. Uh, start of the coming Civil War and the fall of the American Empire. But what I'm going to tell you is what President Trump needs to do if he really wants to fix this economy. What he should do first is he should even ask he should order an audit of all of our gold that we still supposedly have in Fort Knox. Because we are due, and such senators as Ron Paul Sr. and Ron Paul Jr. from Texas were asking for Congress to do an audit of our gold reserves in Fort Knox, and in my opinion, in order to truly fix this economic problem and all this, the first thing that President Trump should do is he should ask for an audit of the gold reserves in the United States in Fort Knox. And then as far as immigration is concerned, although yes, he did slow the illegal immigration to a trickle, which it is a good thing. What we have to do is we have to suspend, in my opinion, in order to fix this immigration problem. What we have to do is suspend for a time, and we have done this before. Suspend all immigration to the United States from every country, so that we can get our immigration system, what we call, in order. Now, let's be brutally honest about our economic situation. This economic situation, it is not a recent phenomenon, ladies and gentlemen. This economic crisis did not start in 2008. Now, this economic crisis in America has begun back in the early to late 70s, when our president at the time, Mr. Richard E. Nixon, took America off the gold standard, and that's when, in my opinion, after careful research, that's when America began its really downhill economic spiral. Now, when it comes and the thing that happened to us, this economic crisis in 2007 and 2008, it was a continuation. It happened because of all the things that happened economically to us back in the early to late 70s and even to early 80s. So that's why we had a real climax all these economic shenanigans came to a head in 2008. But what's even funnier, what's even funnier about the 2007 and 2008 financial crisis, what you have to realize is, ladies and gentlemen, is that those things that caused the 2007 2008 financial crisis, ladies and gentlemen, those things were never, those issues that caused the problem in the first place were never completely fixed. Now, we talked about that we still have inflation for gas, we still have inflation on our grocery stores, blah blah blah. But what we have to realize is that, even the real estate market is high. You can't, because a lot of people can't afford their own. A lot of people cannot afford their own homes because, and a lot of our college graduates still live in their mom's basement because they cannot afford a house because the real estate market is too high. And yes, there are some things that happened in the 2007 2008 financial crisis, and those issues were not fixed, and they were not addressed. But I feel about this is like, that the real estate market is too high, that our prices in the grocery store are too high, that our gas prices are too high, blah blah blah. We still have inflation to deal with, but what I'm driving at is, I'm saying this is happening, in my opinion, because people have accepted that for example, that the price of the real estate market is high because, in my opinion, people just have accepted it to be so. So that is also the problem. It's like, yes, there are some outside factors that are causing the financial problems that we have in America now. But in my opinion, that the prices are too high. In my opinion, I think that this is happening because people have accepted the high gas prices, and all this other thing. So, I am, like I said, you can subscribe to if you like this, you can subscribe to my channel. You can give me thumbs up. You can also, by the way, I'm gonna link my books that I talked about in this video down below. You can still buy them. You can read read my analysis and all that stuff. So, and you can subscribe to my channel. Give me thumbs up on Facebook. You can reach out to me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and all throughout my social media. And I am gonna, like I said, I'm gonna leave the link down below to my books so you can get familiar with them. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I will see you in my next video.